Cheers. Good morning. Good to see you all again. It's been a while. Hope you're all doing very well this beautiful second day of summer. Well, hey, I've been taking a lot of requests from Patreon members lately, from songs to etudes to solo guitar arrangements and etc. and also concepts. And one of the popular concepts I've been talking a lot about lately deals with fretboard visualization, guitar technique, and an approach to soloing. Specifically, this is a very powerful method, the 2 notes per string. Some of you have already tuned in to the previous lesson, the live stream, where I went through all 6 strings. It's a pretty monstrous lesson with a PDF, and you can grab the free tabs in the description. So please feel free to do that. There's no charge to that. You can grab it. You do have to grab it from Patreon. The link is in the description. What kind of prompted me to do this one is my initial discovery of this method. And it didn't come from the pentatonic scale, which is the 2 note per strings that everybody talks about. That's essential to learn. And I have a lot of lessons on that, on pentatonics, on Patreon. And if you want to grab that. But this specifically deals with all the other scales, the modes, the Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Mixolydian, Lydian, Aeolian, Locrian, harmonic minor, melodic minor. There's a lot of scales. This is a great method to learn that in a very simplified fingering format. It just requires one thing, basically, that you know your formulas of the scales. I mean, that's kind of a given, right? But also that you can visualize these triad shapes, and that's kind of what's going to set this apart from a lot of other videos. Is probably the use of the thinking about how to visualize the triad shape. Because I'm hoping all of you know these chords, these simple chords, and I'm going to go through it as we go through it. I'm actually going to. This is a process video. That's often what I share on Patreon, process video lessons where I walk you through it as I'm doing it, because I feel like it's better than versus just kind of talking to you and showing you, to actually go through the process. So grab your guitar. We're going to get started here. I'm going to do a screen share here, and type in the chat who you are, your name, where you're at. If you want to say hello, I appreciate that. And if you enjoy these live streams, also feel free to do the thumbs up there, which also helps the algorithms for my channel, and gets me motivated to share more of these lessons live. So right now I'm going to start a fresh lesson with you. This is brand new from scratch. This is the 2-note per string method on the top 4 strings exclusively. This is a good place to start. This will help you learn your formulas too, and also give you a completely different approach to fingering than you might have tried out before. Okay, so I'm going to load up a sound slice video. Here we go. We're going to go through this method together. I like to demonstrate with my students using sound slice. In these on Patreon, you'll often see my bonus video lessons, me showing as I do the process going through this. So I'm going to start from scratch here. And we're going to start, we'll be on the root of C. C is a great place to start. And I'm going to start right here with the C major triad. We're going to start off with not the pentatonic scale, the major scale. Okay, so I'm going to visualize the C shape, and go ahead and do this with me. Okay, that's kind of the essential that you know this. That's a C major triad. So let's go ahead and just review some of these chord shapes on the top 4 strings. C minor triad. And spelled as an E flat. Don't worry, I'll cruise through this, and you can review this on YouTube. This will probably stay on YouTube, go straight to Patreon. It will be exclusively on Patreon. If you this is a diminished, and I'm just going to go ahead and do augmented. These are the 3 important triads. Do some respelling here. It should be called E flat, and I'll walk you through this. But again, this is going to be a nice process lesson for you. And let's even do the augmented as well. Why not? So again, if you don't know this is important. I'll go ahead and put it here for you. This is the top 4 strings exclusively. We have C major, we've got C minor. So if you don't know it, this is a good time for you to learn it. C dim and C odd. And I can just put a plus, but I'll just put AUG. Okay, so those are your triads. Let's play through that together. C major, C minor, C diminished. This one's tricky to finger, but don't worry, we're going to play scales anyways. Okay. And C odd. So C major is 1, 3, 5, and then we've got the root. This is from the root position. Then C minor is 1, flat 3, 5, root or octave. C diminished is 1, flat 3, flat 5, then the octave. C augmented is 1, 3, sharp 5, octave. Okay, so this is the place to start, just to make sure you understand these triad shapes. Triads, as many of you know, because I know many of you are on Patreon watching this. That's what I always say is the foundation. You have to get strong in triads if you're going to play jazz or any other styles beyond full cowboy chords and power chords, or rock. You want to learn theory and triads. So here are triads, and these are the tertian triads. Tertian means thirds, 1, 3, 5. Okay, you get a flat 3, it's minor. Okay, diminished flat 5, you add the flat 5, augmented, you sharp the 5. These are not sus, but that will be a separate new lesson that I'm going to share coming up, is getting all these other beautiful chords from these basic triads. Okay, but today it's just triads, top 3 strings, top 4 strings. And I say top 4 strings, you can also call it 4, 3, 2, 1 string set. Okay, if you want to do that. Actually, I'll do that. 4, 3, 2, 1. Just so there's no confusion about what the top is. Okay. And again, go ahead and type in the chat. I'm going to take a peek to see if there's any questions and to see who's tuning in. And I hope you all enjoy this lesson, an introduction lesson on 2 notes per string. But first, we got to start by visualizing and learning these formulas of the triads. Okay. So here we go. Let's start off with the C major scale. The C major scale can also be called the Ionian mode. That's the Greek church mode name. Let's see here. I'm going to get that. So we're going to start right here on the root. I'm just going to go ahead and notate these as 8th notes here. So we've got this major triad, and C Ionian is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so refer back to my master scale syllabus if you are not familiar with the formulas, but this is more of the demonstration of actually how to do these. Okay, not going back to the theory of what each scale is, but I will say it because it's good to know. Good to reinforce 1, 2, meaning whole step, and 3, 4, half step, 5, 6, whole step from the interval of the triad. There's your triad. 1, 3, 5. That's why I said this triad. The visualization method is so important. Okay, and then 7, 8. I think I hear Tito, and that's the scale right there. That's what we're going up the scale, the various scales. It's a major scale. T. That's C Ionian, C major. Go ahead and play it with me here. I'll grab a pick for fun. And descending. You can start to already have so much fun with improvising. That's kind of what this is all about, is just setting up a loop track. And then we can move it all around the fretboard too. It's so beautiful. But it's allowing you to think 2 notes per string, not 3 notes, okay? Not combinations, just 2 notes per string. I did move around a little bit, but I was going to connect it to the next positions. So again, that's kind of the goal, is just to improvise very freely over chord progressions, thinking simple 2 notes per string. Because that's where, in myself included, a lot of people get confused on, I forgot the fingering of that that scale. What's a fingering of the melodic minor? What's a fingering of the harmonic minor? This method kind of just eliminates that. So it's really a simple, stripped down method to learning your scales. You're gonna love it. You have to try it first. So C Ionian, visualize a C triad. We're going 1, 2, 3, 5, major 7, 8. So 7's important to this. That's C Ionian. I'm going to go and notate this. I'm going to go through this just a little bit now that we're getting started here with the idea, but I'll also write it above C Ionian. These will all be off the root of C. If you check out my master scales syllabus, which is available on Patreon, you can find it on YouTube from my live stream too. I went through that before. It's free. It goes through all the formulas, so I'm not going to go through that right now with the formulas. I'll probably update this later when I put it out on Patreon with the formulas. So the next one I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to do it in this order. It's going to be a little bit different from just going through the modes: Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian that you would expect. I'm going to go to Lydian next. Okay, this is a good way to teach, I think, is to stick with the major type of modes. So Lydian is a major type of mode because it has 1, 3, 5, the triad. Mixolydian is a major type of mode because it has 1, 3, 5. Okay, so again, knowing your formulas is essential. I'm not going to lie about that. You're going to want to learn and master those formulas, and you can do that away from your guitar just to learn the formulas, but you'll reinforce it by doing this. Okay, so let's go ahead and write this out. C Lydian. C Lydian is 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So basically, check this out. I can just speed up this lesson a little bit here by copying, pasting. That's our 4. This is C Lydian. That was too easy, but I'm going to walk you through it, so don't worry. If you're like, hey, wait, what did you do? I sharped the 4, that's all, of the major scale. So if you don't know your Lydian mode, now's a great time to learn it. 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Beautiful. C Lydian is in what key? What parent key is that in? I'm going to check the comments. Type it, please. See who's checking out this lesson today live, the live stream. Okay, nobody? That's okay. I'm going to continue. I'll just make this a quickie. 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I'll skip the demonstration for now. I'll do that separately on Patreon. We'll just go through the process. Okay. Let's go on. This is a process video, so I'm just showing you how this all works. Okay, next one. This is fun. I love this. Next one, I took that. Go back to that. Mixolydian. So I'm going to flat that. See how easy this is? You just got to know your formulas, and once you know the Ionian mode, everything, we can get all the other scales from the Ionian mode, essentially, if you know 1, 3, 5, 7, this. Now for the mixo, we're going to just flat the 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 8. So again, we can do a lot of improv with this. If you're a fan of Grateful Dead or just some jam bands, Mixolydian important. You can jam out on that for hours. It's so much fun. Okay, so let's go ahead and type that in here. C mixo. Now we're gonna hit. So again, go ahead and walk through this as I'm typing. This is a process video, and that gives you time to play it as I'm writing it out. Kind of like a sit-down lesson on a music stand here. That's what I like about this. Make sure I save my work here. Okay, so now we're going to go on and do the Dorian mode. Now we're going to hit the minor scales here. So again, what I could do is just copy and paste the Ionian mode, which is a beautiful thing to do. And I'm going to show you how to get the Dorian mode from the Ionian mode, if you don't already know. We want to flatten. So it's E flat. We've got the natural 6. We want to flatten 7. And that's 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, and 8. And I'm going to write. So, and I'll come back and write those formulas in later for you too. So 1, 2, flat 3, 4. 5, 6, flat 7, 8. Again, you can have a lot of fun with improvising within this. You run up and down the scale, or hopefully instead make a lot of music with these shapes in mind, these 2-note per string approach, the method. That's C Dorian. Okay, so make sure you learn your formulas. So now what I'm going to do is copy this and insert it and show you how to get, you got it, the Phrygian mode, the third mode. We're going to flat the 2. Yeah, we have here with the flat 2. And we also have to flat the 6. So here's the 6. We've got to flat it. So again, there we go. Let's get the correct labeling of that A flat. So this is C Phrygian. Type in the chat, what key? What's the parent key? The major key, of course. I'm saying parent key. Relative to C Phrygian. Okay, how do you do that? That's really important. Right? I always say it to my students and on Patreon, be able to relate. C Phrygian is the third mode. Phrygian is 3 of the major scale. So C is a third of what is what you want to think of. Okay, see who's checking out these. Anybody tuning in yet? That's okay. C Phrygian is a third of A flat. So you're in the key of A flat major. And this is how it will relate so that you can be in the key of A flat major, but you're doing this C Phrygian. And that's going to open up the whole fretboard to you once you start to relate these modes. Okay. So C Phrygian, let's play it. 1, 2. It's dark. Gotta warn you. Flat 3, 4. 2 notes per string. That's all. It's easy to manage. Here's my triad, C minor. I'm visualizing this triad. I'm not necessarily playing it, but I'm going 1, flat 3, 5, 8. But we need the flat 7 for this too. So we got it. So the C Phrygian mode is 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6. I said 5, flat 6, flat 7, 8. Beautiful. Love that beautiful scale, the Phrygian mode. So moody. So what do you think is next for the minor modes? Oops. That's not what I wanted to do. Who said Aeolian? Somebody? Anybody say Aeolian? So the Aeolian, I'm just going to copy the Dorian mode. I'm going to formula. So this is a good lesson on learning your formulas, even though I'm not typing it all out time, but I'll go back again and post this on Patreon. This is C Aeolian. That's also known as the natural minor and the relative minor of the key. So think about what, if I said C Aeolian, think about what parent scale you're in. What's the key, okay? See if anybody's tuned in yet. Bob, hey, G sharp 2. Lydian, whoa, I'm not sure where you're at. But let's talk about C Aeolian. I don't want to confuse anybody. Aeolian is a 6th mode. So if we're in Aeolian mode, the relative minor, you go up 3 frets, and that's your major key. So we're actually in the key of E flat major. This is the relative minor. Yeah, so we need 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6. Let's get that A flat back. Flat 7, 8. There it is. 1, 2. Let's play it. 1, 2. Flat 3, 4. 5. Flat 6. Flat 7, 8. Oh, not major. And of course, we could do stuff like this. Your popular classic rock. Hours of fun, just jamming on something that was just a classic rock. C minor, B flat, A flat, in the key of E flat major. Don't forget, which is relative. Okay, I'm gonna just kind of cruise through this for you, because these process videos are it's longer. It's a longer lesson because I'm walking through it very slowly. But there is a way for me to copy and paste to kind of speed up the process for you. So let's go ahead and copy this one, the Aeolian mode, and I'll show you. Actually, I should copy the Phrygian one. Phrygian's the darkest one of all of these. Darkest because it has a flat 2 and a flat 6. Of course, it's minor too. But hopefully you know the next one I'm going to show you. If you don't already know your modes, it's the Locrian mode. That's a 7th mode. And that would be a diminished triad, just so you know. So again, review this stuff up here. This is what we want to visualize. This will help you quite a bit. Then we go on and do this study here. Okay, so let's make a couple new bars here because we're going to go on from there too. Seeing how many people are tuned in. This is a popular video or not topic. And it's okay if it's not. It's something that I feel is very important that I wanted to. And I could just copy and paste at the same time. So I'm taking this and I got a flat. So we got a flat 2. If you don't know your Phrygian mode already, flat 3, 4. Got a flat the 5. Yeah, flat 5. It needs to be called a G flat. There we go. 1, flat 2, flat 3, 4, flat 5, flat 6, flat 7, and 8. Not flat 8, just 8. That's the darkest mode of all. The Locrian mode. And that could go with a C triad, diminished triad. You could go with a C minor 7 flat 5 chord if you're jazzy. Or it could even go with a D flat major 7 chord. Because we're relative to the key of D. We're relative to the key of D flat. So it's just it could be a fingering, you know. Okay, let's move on. That's C. Now we're gonna hit some fancier scales. You're like, wait, I thought those were already fancy. Those are the basic modes. Those are the essential modes. C Locrian. If you're just tuning in, we're doing the 2 per string method for scales today on the top 4 strings. Really great and easier to visualize than all 6. We just got to choose a root. I'm starting on the root of C, and I'm demonstrating all the various scales, all the common scales from the modes to the what's coming up next: harmonic minor, melodic minor, whole tone scale, diminished scale, and chromatic scale. Do we have time to do all that? Let's hit it right now. Let's do it. So, harmonic minor, one of my very favorite, because I play a lot of the gypsy jazz and Latin style, so I love this scale too so much. So again, what I'm going to do, actually save myself a little bit of time, is copy the Aeolian mode And this is kind of often how I think of it. So I'm sharing with you how I think of some of these scales, connecting them by modifying them essentially. Harmonic minor scale is the Aeolian mode with the raised seventh. So right here, there, that's it. That's harmonic minor. That's all I had to do is change that one note from the Aeolian mode and raise the seventh. So let me write C harmonic minor. Sometimes I'll abbreviate, as many of you know on Patreon, my lessons, I say CHM. But I'll go ahead and write it out. And again, I'll go ahead and write in the formulas, but check out my master scale syllabus that has all the formulas already written. Let's play through it. 1, 2, nice and slow. Flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6. Okay, hopefully you know this by now if you've been going through the other ones. Major 7, 8. Just 7, 8. You don't have to say flat 7, or just say 7, 8. Is that beautiful? So exotic. Go for it, jam. Okay, hours of fun. We don't need to do that right now, but do have fun experimenting jamming. If you're wondering, hey, what's that chord progression that you're doing? Learn songs, I always talk about on Patreon, go learn songs and understand what scales the harmonized scale of the C harmonic minor. Check out my harmonic minor scale if you like the sound of harmonic minor, because there's 7 chords that come out of that for triads and 7 chords, and just you create your own progressions and have a lot of fun songwriting, composing, jamming on standards, jazz standards, Latin classics, etc. Okay, so let's keep cruising. We got to go do the melodic minor. Okay, and I know time's ticking here, so got some gigs coming up today. Got to make sure I hurry up. And let's copy the Dorian mode. I'll show you my little hacks here of how I think of these scales often. I'm going to copy the Dorian mode, and I'm just going to take the Dorian mode and raise that 7. That's all. So melodic minor doesn't need to be, oh, I can't remember melodic minor. Take your Dorian mode and raise the 7th. Some people will say take Ionian and flat your 3rd. That's another way to think of it. I don't like that as much because Ionian mode has a major 3rd and melodic minor has a flat 3. So they're kind of pretty different. So I'd rather think of it as Dorian with the sharp 7, the major 7. Okay. So let's type that in for you here. I need some coffee. Type in the chat if you are enjoying these lessons. I appreciate it. Do the thumbs up if you enjoy it. That helps me out and gets my ego, forces my ego to keep doing these lessons. So live streams. But I have a ton of bonus process video lessons where I go through this. I write out etudes. I go through my etudes already on Patreon. Please consider joining. There's a free tier level where I share a lot of stuff. And then there's the paid tiers. There's 2 of them right now. Well, actually, there's a diamond tier too. If you want a private lesson, currently that's sold out, but I'm going to open a couple slots in July. One's already reserved for you, Tom. And then you can start at the silver tier to get all my tabs, all my PDFs, a lot of bonus video lessons as well that are just all tiers, and all of my sound slice at the silver. And then the platinum tier will get you access to everything, including all my bonus video lessons from the last 7 years. That's on Patreon, which is a wonderful community. I appreciate all of you who are watching and who are on Patreon. It's been an amazing source of information for myself included. I use it in practice and look for things that I've written out all the time. These are the things that I share the most are the things that I like and work on myself too. There's so much to learn, of course, but okay, I'll skip the jamming. We could do that a little bit later on these on a bonus video lesson to go further and jam on these. So that's melodic minor. Okay. Now I want to show you. This is a special one. I'll play it. You name it in the chat if you're watching this. For any of you Django fans, what scales is? Whole tones. That's okay if you didn't know. The whole tone scale consists completely of whole tones, and the way to visualize it is to think about the augmented triad. That C whole tone. Play it. Very beautiful scale. I've got whole tone scales. I've got lessons already all on these individual scales, and they're on YouTube. They're on Patreon, so you can check out my worksheets. So I'm not going to go further. I'm just showing you the two notes per string method today. Let's try something kind of wacky. the half whole diminished scale, right? So typically you'd go, so we're gonna do this. This one's kind of wacky. We're gonna extend down to the 6, and I'm visualizing this triad, a 7th chord, is a diminished 7. A lot of this is just visualizing, and also it requires that you know your formulas. This is quite interesting because I'm visualizing this diminished 7th close position of a chord. Close meaning this. It's pretty hard to play, but to be like this. So that's actually what I'm visualizing, not just a triad, but the full diminished 7 in a close 1, flat 3, flat 5, double flat 7 in that voicing. So then I'm adding a half step above, because that's all a diminished 8-note scale, the octatonic diminished scale. It's just 2 diminished 7th chords, 1 half step apart, and you get 8 notes from taking those 2 diminished 7ths. So that's all it is taking this and then sliding up. So you get this. So again, if you're kind of into the jazzier side of things and bebop and the Barry Harris method, his method is all about the diminished. Pat Martino, this is a more advanced jazz, so I won't go into it too much. But I do have a lesson on the diminished octatonic scale. So let's go and show you that again, the outline of it. And I'm just going to, let's get the 10 here. But this is some really heavy theory stuff to be thinking about. So I'm going to show you this again as you're watching this video on replay, most likely. I'm going to show you this. Visualize, there's that G flat, and then this note. That's a dim 7 here. That A. It should be A. It should be B double flat. I'm just going to call it A. As many of you know, for the double flat 7, I always just call it a 6. So the true textbook theorists at music schools would say double flat 7, you got to call it a B double flat, but I'm going to call it an A. So this is what I was just playing here in visualizing the C dim 7. And then now we're basically just going to add a half step above that. So that's what I'm saying. If you can visualize this, right, then go half step above. Is that pretty? That's your octatonic scale, your 8-note diminished scale. So check this out. I'm just going to add half step above. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to cruise through this. Symmetrical scale. Okay. And I'm not going to go to the octave. I'm just going to leave it at that. And that's the half full diminished scale, the octatonic scale. Let's write that in. I'm just going to write diminished scale. Starting on the root C. It's actually it can have other names too. It could be the E flat diminished scale. It can be every 3 frets, F sharp or A diminished scale. They're all the same. There's only 3 possible scales because they repeat. That's why it's called symmetrical. Just like the whole tones. I didn't talk about that. I did my other lesson. There's only 2 whole tone scales. All right, so you have a 50-50 chance of getting the right one. In this case, you have 1 out of 3 chance, 33.333 chance of getting the right diminished scale. And it works on, typically these are played on dominant chords. You can use it on a diminished chord, obviously, as well. But most jazzers will play it on dominant 7th chords, which is basically every other chord in the jazz standard, right? Tension resolution. That's why we want that symmetrical quality. Okay, so let's finish up today's lesson here. Hope you're enjoying it. Please do this. If you are, type in the comments, whatever you want to do. The last scale I want to show you here, maybe I won't do the pentatonics today because that's kind of the given, but it doesn't hurt to do that. But I'm going to show you the chromatic scale. So this is kind of the same method. We could do that, but that's 2 notes per string. So, I mean, that's 4 notes per string. Yeah, so I think I skipped that on the last one too. So we're not going to do that because that kind of breaks the whole concept. You'd have to do this if you wanted to. You have to go here and then here. And that's a little bit ridiculous, I'm going to be honest. So I'm going to go ahead and stop here today's session. I hope some of you join and like this lesson. Thanks so much. We'll see you guys next time.